Hey there, ready for a deep dive. So we've got all these sources on Stoicism, right? And it's amazing they all kind of come back to this one powerful idea. Control. Imagine, like your peace, it doesn't come from everything going perfectly in your life, but from you, mastering what you can actually control, your mind, your choices, the things you do. That's Stoicism. No wonder guys like George Washington and Frederick the Great were all about it.
And that's what makes this deep dive so interesting. It's not just, some old philosophy lecture, but a way to live better. I mean, these historical figures, they use this stuff to deal with crazy challenges.
Like he had this secret weapon, for stress, uncertainty, all of it. And the best part, we can learn to use it too. But where do we even start with this whole control thing? Sounds kind of simple, but I'm guessing it's deeper than that.
Oh, absolutely. The Stoics, they were all about knowing the difference between what you can control and what you can't. Like, you can't control the weather, right? Or what other people think about you, what they do.
Nope, no controlling that.
But how you react to those things, that's where your power is.
Makes sense. Focus on what's going on inside, not just all the chaos outside.
Exactly. And that internal world, that's where the real Stoic work begins. Understanding your own perceptions, judgments, even your desires, like how much power our thoughts have over how we experience everything.
So instead of letting our emotions run wild, we kind of step back and examine them. Like, where are these feelings even coming from?
Exactly. There's that old saying, right? Between stimulus and response, there's a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. The Stoics, they were saying this centuries ago.
Wow. Okay, so we've got this hidden superpower, this ability to choose how we handle things, but how do we actually use it? We're not philosophers, just regular people with regular stressful lives.
See, that's the beauty of Stoicism. It's for everyone. One of the sources, actually, it compares ancient Rome to today. They had gladiators, chariot races. We've got social media, endless entertainment. Different noise, same problem. Staying focused on what matters.
So true. It's so easy to get caught up in the hustle, and you forget what's actually important. It's like we're constantly being told what to buy, what to think, even how to feel.
And that's why the Stoics were big on examining your desires, questioning your impulses, because they knew real happiness doesn't come from chasing stuff, but from finding that inner peace, contentment.
So it's not about denying yourself pleasure or becoming like an emotionless robot, more about choosing your desires wisely.
Exactly. Ever notice how that thing you think you really want, maybe a new gadget, the perfect job,
Okay.
it doesn't actually make you happy? The Stoics were onto that. They talk about aligning your desires with what's truly good, not just what our impulses are screaming.
It's like F. Scott Fitzgerald, right? Thinking the rich folks had some secret to happiness. Turns out they mostly just had more money, which doesn't fix this stuff going on inside.
Perfect example. Our own perceptions, they shape our experience. The Stoics would say true happiness, it's not about more stuff, but mastering your inner world, cultivating virtues, wisdom, justice, courage, temperance.
Okay, virtues. Now it's getting a little intense. Like, am I virtuous enough for this stoicism thing?
See, that's another misconception. It's not about being perfect, but trying to be your best self. Living by your values, however imperfectly.
So, a journey, not a destination. And, like any good journey, probably has some challenges along the way.
You got it.
Yeah.
Which leads us to the next part. How to face those challenges with courage and reason. Because life, it's not always sunshine and roses. Setbacks, disappointments, even tragedies, they happen.
Okay, lay it on me. Because sometimes, even getting out of bed feels like facing a lion.
Right. But imagine if you did have to face a lion every morning. You'd want to be prepared. Train your body, train your mind to be strong, resilient. That's how the Stoics saw challenges.
Yeah.
Opportunities to grow, test yourself, become stronger.
Instead of dreading tough meetings or hitting snooze, I should be thinking, okay, how do I mentally prep for this? My Stoic training montage.
That's the spirit. And one of your sources has a great example. It talks about Cato the Younger, who would walk around barefoot on purpose. Embrace discomfort as training.
Okay, embracing discomfort,
Yeah.
like a philosophical boot camp. But how does that actually help us in real life?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going barefoot in winter, but I get pushing your limits.
It's not about seeking suffering, but resilience. Like, the more we face challenges in a controlled way, the better we handle those curveballs life throws.
Building up that, like, inner strength, Stoic armor, so we're ready for anything.
Exactly. And that inner strength, that's where we find true freedom.
Wait, I thought freedom was doing whatever you want.
See, that's the thing. The Stoics, they saw it differently. They'd say true freedom, it's not about having more, but wanting less. Finding contentment inside yourself, no matter what's going on outside.
Okay, how do we go from wanting everything to being content? That's a big jump.
Shift in focus. Instead of chasing stuff we think will make us happy, we can choose to appreciate what we've got. One of your sources, it compares it to a kid with a jar of treats clinging on so tight they don't realize they're trapped.
Wow, yeah. We're so busy grabbing for more, we forget to enjoy what's right there.
Exactly. And that's where acceptance comes in. Not giving up, but acknowledging there are things we can't control. Other people, random events even, our own mortality.
Whoa, mortality. Getting a little dark, aren't we? Are we supposed to think about death to be happy?
Not constantly, but the Stoics, they did believe reflecting on it helps you live more fully, reminds you time is precious, don't waste it on what doesn't matter.
So living with intention, making each day count.
Exactly. Plus, it reframes those challenges. When you remember time is limited, daily stress seems a lot smaller.
Don't sweat the small stuff, right?
Exactly. And most of it is small stuff.
But the big stuff, the really tough, life-changing challenges, how do they fit in?
Even then, the Stoics would say, we still have a choice. Let those challenges break you or rise above them.
Easier said than done, though, right? Where's that inner strength come from when everything's falling apart?
One of your sources tells the story of Nelson Mandela. 27 years, unjustly imprisoned, yet he kept his dignity, his self-assurance, even found ways to assert his will in that tiny cell. That's Stoicism in action.
Okay, but not all of us are Nelson Mandela.
Of course, but we all have that capacity for inner strength. It's about tapping into it, choosing our response even when we can't control the situation.
Finding peace, strength within, even in the middle of chaos.
Exactly, and that's where virtue comes in.
Okay, back to virtues. What's that got to do with inner peace?
For Stoics, virtue wasn't just being good, but living in tune with nature, with reason. True happiness fulfillment came from aligning your actions with your values.
So not just feeling good, but doing good too.
Yes. Recognizing we're connected to others, acting for the benefit of everyone.
Makes me think of that line from one of these sources. Meditate on the interconnectedness of all things, how one thing follows after another according to their tension of movement, their sympathetic stirrings, and the unity of all substance.
It's a beautiful reminder, right? We're all part of something bigger. Our actions, they have ripple effects.
So it's not just focusing inward, but also our responsibility to the world around us.
Absolutely. True freedom, for the Stoics, didn't mean isolating yourself, but engaging with the world meaningfully.
Okay, how do we balance that? Inner peace and making a difference.
That's where duty comes in.
Duty. Sounds a bit heavy.
Maybe, but think of it as your purpose, your calling. What are you passionate about? What talents, abilities do you have to offer?
Not some rule book, but figuring out what matters to us, then actually acting on it.
Exactly. That's how we bridge inner and outer. Live with purpose, use your strengths to make a positive impact. You align with something bigger than yourself. Incredibly powerful.
Finding your place in the grand scheme of things.
Yes. And when you find it, when you're living by your values, contributing to the good of all, that's true fulfillment.
So it's more than just, like, being nice to people, right? There's something deeper going on here.
It's about recognizing that shared humanity. Yeah. Even with people who are tough to deal with. And the Stoics, they knew life wouldn't be all sunshine and rainbows, right? It's about having those tools for when things get rough.
And it all comes back to control, doesn't it? We can't control how others act, but we can control our reaction.
Building that inner strength, piece by piece, through the choices we make. The stronger that gets, the less you're pushed around by everything happening outside. You react less, you bounce back better, you handle whatever comes your way.
Which makes you think about those figures we mentioned, right? George Washington, Frederick the Great.
Hmm.
For them, Stoicism wasn't just some theory. It was how they led, how they made tough decisions when things were rough.
Exactly. They knew being a good leader, it starts with mastering yourself. Knowing what motivates you, controlling those impulses, and acting on what's right even when it's hard. Setting an example, not just barking orders.
And making the tough calls even when it's unpopular.
Absolutely. So we're not just talking about personal growth here. It's about being a better leader, a better part of society as a whole.
Recognizing that connection between us, that our actions have an impact.
For sure. The Stoics, they were big on this idea. Our own well-being is tied to everyone else's. We're all in this together, so we act in a way that benefits everyone.
It's like that passage, you know the one about meditating on how connected everything is, how one thing follows after another, according to their tension of movement, their sympathetic stirrings, and the unity of all substance.
Powerful, right? We're all connected. We got to live in harmony with each other, with the natural world.
Finding your place in that web and doing your duty to the best of your ability.
And that duty, it's not some outside rule. It comes from within. By reflecting and committing to living a virtuous life, making choices, using reason, and trying to live in tune with nature.
And that takes us right back to the heart of all this, doesn't it? This whole deep dive. Stoicism. It's a way to live better. Not escape the hard stuff, but face it head on. With courage, resilience, and that commitment to virtue.
It's a journey, not a finish line. The Stoics knew we're all work in progress, right? Always trying to be better for ourselves and the world. Take it one step at a time, make those choices, and build up the good stuff inside. That's what leads to a meaningful life.
So as you go about your day-to-day, remember what we've been talking about. Focus on what you can control. Train yourself to handle the tough stuff. Find that freedom and acceptance and live with purpose, live with virtue.
You've shared some amazing sources on this, honestly. Now the real work begins. How are you going to use these tools? What does your Stoic training look like? Keep learning, keep at it, and keep exploring. Until next time, keep diving deep.